like to please take one of these and one of these. Just look at it for a minute. Just take your time. Look at all the ridges, the shape, colors, what is the textures, pattern. And once you have this, bring it closer to you and take a nice deep breath, letting your belly grow. Just take a minute there. Once you feel you have smelled it in its fullness, just put it close to your ear. Leave it there for a minute. I always get a laugh out of this one because like how many times have you done that in your life? Don't put it in your mouth. Maybe take a bite if you don't want to put the whole thing, but don't eat it. Just leave it in your mouth. Okay, or take another bite and leave it in your mouth.
I already swallowed mine.
So if you can put it in your mouth and just let it linger, just give it a minute. And then once you're ready, just let it go down and feel how it's going down. How many times in your life do you actually take the time to eat this slow? Never. Somebody's sex counselor, so I say silly things. I haven't tried taking the deep breath. Because the truth is that in real life, we're just like, go, go, go. And once we're done, we just want to disconnect. We don't want to think. We want to doom scroll. We want to watch movies. We don't really take the time to just pause in the middle of the chaos and say, okay, I'm fine. I can take a deep breath. There's a storm, but there's an anchor of safety inside of me. And I wonder when I say pleasure, what is the first thing that comes up for you?
Oh, like an intense feeling like all over your body. Like, I don't know. Sorry.
There's no right way
to
describe it, right?
Yeah, it's like an intense feeling where everything tingles and you just feel amazing.
The first word that comes to mind is just joy.
Is there any pictures that come to your mind when I say that word?
I just immediately thought of my kid. Sleep, big
Sleep, rest, right? So there's really different kinds of pleasure because I'm a sex counselor. A lot of people will think, well, yeah, sex, hopefully. But there's a lot other ways that we experience pleasure, right? Sometimes being able to just take a deep breath and just chill for a minute can feel really nice. I always love to say when you hold your pee for a long time and you finally go and you're like, oh. That to me is pleasure. I associate pleasure in my body with that feeling of when you're just finally able to like go and take a deep breath. But the thing is, we have so many things to do that we're always holding on to something. And when we're finally trying to, okay, I just want to live and relax. Right, I didn't do all this list of things I was supposed to do. I don't know if everybody's an overthinker like I am. But you're always like, the mind is like running. When pleasure is really being in the moment and being slow and just savoring things. Pleasure is really a skill. Pleasure is something that your body's made to feel. The coolness can feel so nice. A heating pad can feel so nice, right? They're different. A puzzle can feel nice for people. So there's many different ways to explore pleasure. When you're working with somebody who maybe has pain during sex or has shame about sexuality or wants to explain, I want to try kink, I want to try the hot thing, but it feels so weird. I want to go to the sex shop. I feel this way. I don't like anything. I don't know what I like, right? A lot of people that I work with, they just don't know what feels good to them. And sometimes it's easier to say, I don't like this thing. And so what do you like? Because how many times are we actually giving ourselves permission to, what do I like? Because women were often thought or grow up as sex is something that we do for somebody else, not as this is part of my self-care. This is part of feeling good in my body. Sex is about how do I feel about my body? How do I feel about myself? What kind of emotional space I am today? How do I feel about my partner? How do I feel about my kids, my house, my job, right? We see sex as this box, a part of from everyday life, when really it really shows, it reflects in other areas of your life. A lot of what I do with people is we start talking about the issues that they're having in the bedroom. And then I'm like, okay, so how do you manage your stress in everyday life? You had a full checkup. How are your hormones? Do you have chronic pain? And is your physician addressing the root cause of your pain? Something that makes me livid is when you go and they're like, okay, here's the numbing cream. Here's this med to just numb it down. Okay, but why am I in pain? Why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? This is not normal. And we have been thought like, just suck it up. You're just fine. You're alive, so keep going. Opposite of pleasure wouldn't be pain. It's really not feeling anything at all. But when we cultivate pleasure, even with chronic pain, even with having so many other issues, we have this bubble where we can escape for a minute in a healthy way and just allow ourselves and our bodies to just take a deep breath and relax. But at the same time, what I have seen is the reason why many people let it go is because it's not important, because this is shameful. Even when I have seen amazing results when people go to hormone therapy, they have spent years in pain, they have spent years having difficulties. The thing that I hear most often with my couples is our relationship is perfect if it wasn't for this.
Well, I feel like too, like a lot of my patients with pelvic pain, they have some kind of traumatic thing. Not all the time, but there's often some traumatic thing that's happened in the past. That's why I love that link between psychiatric and pelvic floor. Because, like you said, there is a physical response, but also there's usually an emotional and mental aspect to it as well. It's a great combination for sure.
Definitely. And when we're thinking about stress, you're right, this is like a stressful kind of thing. Our pelvic floor is exactly the same. I feel like if I wasn't doing this job, I would have never realized that when you take a deep breath, actual deep breath, your pelvic floor actually expands. Most people don't feel that. I really wasn't aware until I started doing this. I'm like, wait a minute. And then paid attention, like, oh, this is the thing. And you're not thought about that. I can tell you that I have gone to many doctors. I have had 2 kids. Nobody has ever asked me, how's your sex life?
It's a big stigma. Patients don't really want to talk to you about it, too. I have a lot of men that come in and they're like, hey, I don't want to talk to you about this, but, then they'll start to talk to me about it. It's actually more of a stigma, I feel, for men when they have female providers. But women, too. I don't have a lot of women who talk to me about their libidos and different stuff like that. I feel like sex is related to emotion, too. How women feel. Like you said, they carry all the burden of everything in their life. And so it really affects their sexual self.
Or you think about their confidence. When I was heavier, I never really wanted to have sex because
you didn't
I
feel
didn't feel confident.
right?
I was like just not interested.
I think for me, because the people that come to me have already crossed that barriers, because I'm a specialist, everybody that's going to come to me is going to talk about it at some point. And I know that so many times it's just not built into the healthcare system to directly address that. So I don't know if you guys have seen Dying for Sex, the topic of our book club. We were meeting at the wine bar in Newport Richie. So it's based on a real life story of somebody who was diagnosed with terminal cancer. All kind of trigger warnings with this one is about sexual abuse, divorce. It's very emotional, but it's also for her sex was a way to befriend her body, even though she was dying. She was in pain. There were all these crazy things going on. Her sexuality became this bubble where where everything was okay. She found a way to feel good with herself. Obviously, the show takes the liberty of showmanship. Super fun, super kinky. There's also a book and a podcast. It's a really wonderful story. It's not just about sex. It's about a lot more, and that is why I love it so much, because it shows finding a path to healing through exploring all these different kinds of. There's some parallels of kink, submission, and dominance, and that surrendering when it comes to being diagnosed with terminal illness and going through the dying process, things like that. It's very interesting. I was talking with somebody about the show, and she used to do intakes during people who were walking into hospice. There's no talks. There's nothing. The intake questionnaire, which is supposed to be very comprehensive of all your history. There's no questions about your sex life. It's like this doesn't matter when in reality it will show. If your hormones are out of whack, your sex life is probably also out of whack. If your emotion, your mental health, anything is out of whack, you will see it in your sexuality. To me, it's not just that. It's like the access that it has with us and other people, or even with ourselves, right? We can obviously do it ourselves. But it's that kind of intimacy that you can create to touch that is unique in certain ways.
Thinking about it now, as a gynecologist, I think the only question they ask relating to sex is how many partners you've had.
How often, and if it's male or female.
Yeah, they just want to know who and how many times.
I definitely think it's an important topic, for sure. Because when my patients come in, they're always complaining about things. And I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, are you having sex? Are you having no libido? Even at the urgent care, when I work there 2 days a week, I'm always talking to them about it. I'm like, well, you are 40. How are things going? And they're like so awkward when I bring it up. And I'm like, it's okay. We can talk about it. I want to make sure you're feeling good. Your sexual health is a part of your everyday health.
I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable about talking about it and bringing it up even with their partners. And to me, it's about getting comfortable with the discomfort. It's not about, oh, I'm so comfortable talking about all these things. Woo! And it's just like, oh, this is super awkward, but hey, this is what I want. And we are not used to that. I think most of us have been sold this in movies and TV shows that sex is this spontaneous thing that just so happens and everything just goes. And if it doesn't happen and there's no powwow, then we're not compatible and this is not working, which is a problem. If you're already married and you have a whole life together, then what do you do?